Hi, I'm Addison.
And I'm Tori, and for our final project, we decided to make an infrared camera robot.
This is how we made it. First, we had to come up with a design, so we started by looking at the Arduino website for potential ideas.
Our very first idea was a firefighting robot, and then we had the idea for an automatic plant watering robot, but we ultimately decided to combine an infrared camera and an RC car.
We came up with our design, which was originally intended to be used to help find people after natural disasters, and also in hard to reach places by using or by reading their heat signatures. Our goals for this project were to have a working RC car, to figure out how to code and work the infrared sensor, make the RC car be able to move in all directions, and have a display for the infrared camera using an LED board.
So this is the sketch we made of kind of what we wanted our robot to be like. We we have on here the chassis and the wheels. And then we wanted to have like a cover for all the wiring, and then on top of that have the LED board to display what the infrared sensor is sensing.
While we were waiting for the parts we ordered to come in, we worked on making the actual car part of our project. And this took a while because we couldn't figure out how to code the motors and the wheels to work right. But we used ChatGPT to help it correct our code and to get the wheels working. But after we did that, one of the wheels was spinning in the wrong direction, so it wouldn't drive properly. So we got back on ChatGPT and asked it what the problem could be, and it told us there might be an issue with the wiring.
We then went and changed up our wiring and tested it out. After we did that, all the wheels started working again. We used AI to help us with a timeline, finding good parts for our project online, to help with our coding, and to figure out what was wrong with the wheels.
Some of the challenges we faced were that we didn't have all the parts we needed at first. We could not get the wheels working at all at first, but then we got the wheels working, and then one was going the wrong way. And then we ordered what we thought was the right part, but it ended up being sent as the wrong part. Unfortunately, we didn't have either of the sensors or the LED board, so we had to order those parts.
In the meantime, we asked ChatGPT to generate a 5-week-long plan to help us stay on track. This plan helped us stay on track for the most part, except when we had to wait for parts to ship in so we could continue. So to start off our project, we started by getting ChatGPT to make this timeline for us, and it set up each week. We told it that we had 5 weeks, with 5 days each week and 1.5 hours in each day. And this is the plan that it came up with. So for week 1, it told us to get all of our parts together and do basic research on the parts and to make sure that Arduino worked and that all the parts worked together.
To make our robot, we would have to order a few parts, so we started by figuring out everything that we needed. So then for week 2, the main thing it wanted us to do was assemble the base of the robot and get the motors working. So we started by assembling the chassis and the motors, and we used a foam board at first to do the chassis, and we attached the motors with hot glue and we started wiring it to the motor driver. And then we did not get the motors to work at first, but then we figured out that the code had to be changed to receive the proper signals that the sensor was receiving. And then by this point, we were just waiting for the infrared sensor to arrive after we had ordered it.
So it told us that we needed to wire and test the thermal sensor, but we were still waiting for that part to come in. So instead, we decided to work on getting the controls on the remote to work properly, and we were still trying to figure out what was wrong with the one wheel that kept going in the opposite direction.
Okay. Go, go, go. Oh? What are you doing right now? Oh! Wait, push the one. Please work. Hey, bro.
We did eventually get the thermal sensor that week, but then we had to wait for the LED board that we ordered to come in. And we also changed the board that all of our stuff was on from the foam board to a wood board. That way it would be more stable and it would be able to hold up everything better, so our robot wouldn't fall apart.
So for week 4, the main thing it wanted us to do was get the LED matrix hooked up to the thermal sensor so that we could start seeing what it actually looked like with the heat signatures. So, we got the LED board in the mail and we started to try to integrate it with the sensor, but then we realized that we were actually sent the wrong version of the LED board. We did figure out though that it could still work, but we would also need a driver board for the LED board that we did not have. So we looked at possibly ordering it online, but nothing would ship fast enough, and anything that had an overnight shipping option cost too much for us to afford. We then checked a computer part store, but they did not carry the part, unfortunately. So ultimately, finding this part in the time that we had left was a lost cause. So we tried to look for other solutions. Some of these included using a smaller LED board that we already had, but it would not work because we did not have the right driver board for it either. We considered possibly using single LEDs, but that would not work because they won't change colors. So in the end, we had to abandon the idea of the infrared sensor and just had to leave the RC car as it was due to lack of time.
So ChatGPT told us that at this time we should start working on like testing it and improving our car by like increasing the speed and like the response to the controller, and testing it on like different um like environments. But during this time we really didn't have the time to do much, so we worked on our video and gathered things like photos, videos, links, and we made a script to follow. And yeah.
So as you can see, this is the suggestions that ChatGPT gave us when we asked it what could be the problem with our motor spinning in the wrong direction. The first thing that it suggested us was that our wiring could be incorrect, and so what we did was we checked all the wiring, we double checked it, made sure that nothing was in the wrong place, like everything was correct. We even went through on YouTube and we looked at a few videos of other RC cars that were made with Arduino to really understand and make sure that we had it 100% correct. And after looking at all of the videos and double checking multiple times, we decided that it had to be a coding issue because we couldn't find any errors in the wiring. So then we started looking at the code and asking ChatGPT more what could be the problem. We tried multiple things and nothing was fixing the issue with the motor going the wrong direction. So we decided to maybe go through and check our wiring one more time. And when we did that, we looked a little bit closer and realized that we had missed one part of the wiring that was attached to the motor, not the Arduino board, which is why we didn't think to check it. So we had to take the wires off of the front motor and swap them and then solder them back on. And once we did that, the motor was fixed and going in the right direction.
We believe that when using AI, it is important to use it responsibly and not with bad intentions. For example, using it for something like this, where we had it come up with a timeline for our project, would be a good way of using it. However, using it to write something like an English essay or like helping with math homework or like just using it to cheat on your math homework isn't good. So as long as AI is used responsibly, it can be a great tool to help with our everyday lives.
in conclusion, we did not get to incorporate the thermal sensor because of multiple different factors, but we did get the RC car working and get all the controls fixed for that. While using AI in this project, we kind of learned that you really need to be specific on what you're trying to get out of it, and that you can't just expect it to do everything for you. You still have to kind of put that work in and know how to use AI in the right ways. We do think that we could have finished this project without AI. It just probably would have taken us quite a bit longer to go through and figure out all the little details ourselves without having the AI to kind of just look at it for us and be like, hey, this is wrong. In most scenarios, AI would probably be seen as cheating, such as places like an English classroom or just in any classes at all in general, unless the user knows how to use it in the correct ways for the right reasons. Overall, we enjoyed doing this project and we learned a lot from it. And if we were to do it again, we would probably do a bit more research before we ordered our parts.